Hi, I am Caitlin over here at TherapyWorks, and I am joined today by Rachel, one of our awesome PTAs. And we're going to talk about backpack, in particular backpacks and like backpack safety going into this school year. So it's kind of like an unusual topic. So Rachel, could you tell us a little bit about, what kind of problems can result from like wearing your backpack wrong? Like, why are we talking about this?
Yeah, if you wear your backpack wrong and are not knowledgeable about some of the things that can harm you, you can have neck, shoulder, and even backpack pain. And that's not just for kids, but for anybody who wears a backpack regularly.
Absolutely. It's kindergarten all the way through the rest of forever. Um, so, so like just very simply, like how can you wear your backpack to kind of avoid these problems?
Yeah, so wearing your backpack properly is the first way to start. So making sure that the weight of your backpack is evenly distributed on both of the shoulders. I know when I was in high school, a lot of people would do like the one shoulder thing, but that can cause a lot of tightness on that one side. So just making sure that both sides are equally distributing the weight, and that the backpack sits above the hips about an inch or so, and is not hanging down really low.
So, you mentioned like kind of sizing. What if like there isn't enough space on your back to, wear it above your hips? Like what if you're a small person or, like a kindergartner? I'm thinking of them in their like big backpacks on the first day. And so what should you do then?
Yeah, so there's a couple of options. Either you can, if you have that big backpack for your little kindergartner, just making sure that you're not filling up that bag with a lot of heavy objects. They're really small, so whenever the backpack is, like their size, if you've got a lot of stuff in there, that can cause some problems. So just making sure that it's a lot of light objects that you're filling in there, as well as you could get a smaller backpack, one that kind of fits their back a little bit better, that does meet those requirements to kind of prevent any of those injuries or muscle tightness.
Yeah. And when you say like, light objects in there, like it's important to remember like how quickly those objects can really add up to being a problem. A pencil, not an issue, but like 20 pencils starts to be pretty heavy. And, especially this time of year where you're maybe carrying more things or newer things and, thinking about it as a whole is really important. So, on the subject of weight, like how heavy should the backpack be?
Yes, so maximum weight that a backpack should be kind of 15% of whoever's wearing it, their body weight. So a really easy example would be if someone weighs 100 pounds, just carrying no more than a 15-pound backpack. So what you could do, if it's not as easy as 100 pounds, just multiply whatever your weight is by 0.15, and then that'll give you the weight of the backpack to wear.
Yeah, and I should jump in there. Like that doesn't really apply if the backpack isn't fitted well. Like if it is the example with like the very small child with a big backpack, do not go up to 15%. Keep it as light as possible. Like one folder and a couple pencils. So like if you're trying to figure out exactly how much it weighs, what is like the easiest way to get the weight of a child's backpack?
So I would definitely,
or yours, not just a child, anybody.
Yeah, I would definitely, if you have a scale at home, putting, whoever, whether it be a child, adult, weighing them first, and then kind of weighing the backpack separately, and then also having them wearing the backpack. So you kind of have like all of those figures, and you can kind of differentiate what the difference of the weight you are with the backpack versus just standing alone, or like the backpack in general.
Yeah, because like most bathroom scales won't really work for like just a backpack, but if you weigh yourself and then yourself with the backpack, you can just subtract. So, especially with like younger kids, I know that it's sometimes kind of like hard to tell, like, are they in pain? Is their backpack bothering them? Especially, like I'm thinking like kindergarten to maybe like third grade where they're not necessarily aware, like nearly as aware of their bodies. So what are some good ways to tell if like your kid is, having pain or if it's because of their backpack?
So you can kind of tell if their body position looks abnormal whenever they have a backpack on, or if they don't like wearing their backpack and they take it off a lot of the time, or even if they kind of get headaches whenever they are wearing their backpack or whenever they soon take it off. Those are kind of some of the signs that you can look for to see if the backpack is having a negative effect.
Yeah, that's a good point, especially, the body position. Like, I'm like, again, picturing, like kiddos standing with backpacks and half of them are like leaning back or leaning forward or like hunched sideways. It's like, oh, that's probably too heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So if, someone does develop pain from their backpack, no matter what age, how can you go about maybe relieving some of that pain?
So a great exercise would be the corner stretch, which for that one, you just kind of put both hands on a wall and you're in a corner, and then you just kind of lean forward, and that opens up that chest cavity. Because typically with people who have injuries resulting in backpacks, it's more because the backpack's too heavy. So the posture becomes kind of hunched. So that stretch, just really opening up that chest cavity, is really good. But then again, every person's different. And then just for more individualized advice, we always have free screens at TherapyWorks. So just coming in for one, that way we can kind of assess and have a more individualized plan would be very effective.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought up those. Our complimentary consultations are like, if you've seen our Facebook Lives before, you know how much I am a huge fan of them. But they're such a good tool. Like, if you are having questions about really anything, we can be your, physical therapy people next door that you call up, and it's usually about 10 to 15 minutes, and it can be over the phone or in person. It's completely free, and you just talk to a physical therapy professional about, what's been going on, and then you sit down together and kind of figure out where to go next. And, if it's physical therapy, that's great. We can get you started, usually within a week or so. We try to get people in as soon as possible. We don't want you to be in pain for longer than you have to be. But if it's something else, we can also direct you to other resources. And, TherapyWorks has been around in Lawrence for almost 30 years now. So like, we know where the resources are, we know what options you have available, and we know how to help you navigate all of those things. So, if you're having any questions, or if you think your child's having some pain, or like maybe your kid seems like they're in pain, but you don't quite know how to figure it out, or like you sort of suspect something, and you think it might be coming from their backpack, that's something that we can talk through with you. And we know kind of what questions to ask and what things to look for. And so, if you're in doubt, or you are, starting to feel pain yourself, go ahead and give us a call. Our number is 785-749-1300, and we'd always be happy to talk to you. So, lots of great advice today, Rachel. Do you have anything else to add before we sign off? All right. Well, obviously this is a really timely Facebook Live, being start of the school year, but all of these do hold all year long. So as, middle schoolers and high schoolers are adding all of that paper into their binders and getting more books, and, you're maybe your stuff kind of starts to collect in your elementary schooler's backpack. Keep this in mind, and we will have it on our Facebook page and upload it to our YouTube, so you can always go back and watch if you ever need to throughout the school year and beyond. So thanks for joining us today.